Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hey, Jackie-cation here. Welcome to the Dork Forest. It's November or December of 2022. You're about to listen to the Dork Forest. My name is Jackie-cation. The website's, of course, jackie-cation.com, dorkforest.com, thedorkforest.com. If you enjoy a determiner. Anyway, November and December, I ask that you do not donate to the Dork Forest, that instead you donate to your local food bank, because it's a nice holiday kind of wintry thing to do. And if you don't know where your local food bank is, you can go to feedingamerica.org, or you can Google the words that are your town's name and the word food bank. Hey, sarcasm. Jackie-cation.com is where everything is linked. Like if you go to dorkforest.com, you can see all the notes, and it'll link you to the YouTube videos for the Dork Forest and Apple podcasts, and it's on Stitcher. It's on all the things. Anyway, so jackie-cation.com will link you to everything. Dork Forest will link you back to jackie-cation.com and to everything else. There is merch. If you have some sort of holiday wish to purchase a Dork Forest t-shirt, the logo is now on a black shirt with the logo in that bright green that the Ranger t-shirt used to be. Sold out of the Ranger shirts, discontinued. Also, I have some stand-up shirts that are squish t-shirts. If you wanted a meat shield t-shirt, I have limited sizes left, but that's still a benefit for to help immigrants and anti-racism stuff. So if you want, go look around jackie-cation.com store for your store needs. I also have a new album out that's playing almost nowhere. That's right, because of legal issues with something called Spoken Giants. Very disappointing. So the special itself is on YouTube, on the 800-Pound Gorilla YouTube channel, linkable off of jackie-cation.com. You can also get a DVD or a CD at jackie-cation.com. The CD itself is listenable at places where you can buy it. So at Apple iTunes and at Amazon Music. You could also stream it there. If you buy it, I make more money. But if you want to stream it, do whatever you want. But it's not on Pandora. It's not on Spotify. It's not on Sirius XM. And neither are my 4 other albums. But do whatever you want because it's your life. There we go. What else is happening? I'm touring. I'm doing a lot of stand-up on the road. Feel free to come. Feel free to sign up for the email list at jackie-cation.com. Harder to get on because you got to find how you put it in to get off, which is you scroll and hit unsubscribe. But all of these things are available on jackie-cation.com. I'm coming to do stand-up probably near you. If not near you, near someone you love. Tell them. Anyway, let's dork out about something. Let's get into the show. Oh, hello. I'm Jackie-cation, and you're Dork Forest. It's DJ, stand-up comic, Vancouver. Welcome. Another Canadian comic. Psyched to see you. You have a glow about you. It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Dork Forest. You're going to be on Comedy Invasion. You have a 30-minute special coming out on all the things, right? Like Amazon Prime and Roku and Tubi.
Yes, I think it's on all 3 of those. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's great. It's congratulations, and
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing any of it, all of it, and I think I'm in Toronto this week, but you're nowhere near that. Vancouver being
I'm
very
so far away. Yeah, I'm
so
very far away from that.
like the entire country.
Yeah.
So, but your dorkdom is what we were talking about was pastries and baked goods and this type of thing. How so?
Yeah.
Why so? Why do you enjoy it besides its deliciousness?
I don't know. I'm just that type of gay that just really likes baked goods.
If I named these shows, this one would be called That Type of Gay.
Yeah. But yeah, I sometimes like to think that I'm like very unique and stuff, but like I'm a lot of me is just like the typical gay that just like loves pastries. Like half of my Twitter is like just gay men talking about Bake Off all the time and stuff like that.
Sure, that is.
yeah.
I don't know that gays may not be able to take that. That might be a human experience.
Yeah, right.
Because
True.
we all enjoy a baked good. And
Yeah.
I just watched the end of the British Bake Off last night.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm not caught up with this season because
oh, fair enough. You will like it. It is fun.
okay, yeah, it's like I've seen clips on Twitter and it sounds very chaotic, like the Mexican
The Mexican
themed
thing
day.
was a bit of a fail right there. But I did,
Yeah.
it's not there like I'm sure that they're the nearest continent to Europe from Great Britain, besides the European continent, would be
Right.
Africa. And I'm sure they know more about, the creation of North African food or East African food or West African food than we do. And we might say taco if we lived in England. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's my problem with that was when there is a scene, spoiler alert, where they're making Mexican food and someone is peeling an avocado with a paring knife. And I was like, oh, I mean, how would you know though? You wouldn't know until you know.
Yeah.
You can't know until you. Yeah. I didn't eat a lot of avocados before I moved to Los Angeles.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm from Wisconsin and I never ate an artichoke. I wouldn't have had any idea how to eat an artichoke. Have you ever eaten an artichoke?
Yeah, it's like not that much eating involved.
No,
it's like mostly shredding with your teeth
and dipping. It seems to be a vehicle for butter or mayonnaise, as far as I can tell. Yeah. Okay, so did you ever bake as a child? Was there baking in your history? Did anybody, or was it just those Toll House cookies?
Yeah, it was not really part of my childhood up until like I was like 10 years old, and then we had to my elementary school had like a cakewalk or something, and I never knew what a cakewalk was. Do you know what a cakewalk is?
I don't know what a cakewalk is.
I guess it's like this, I don't know if it's like a Vancouver thing or a Canadian thing, but like it's like a thing to like raise money, so people would bring a cake to an event and then
cut it up and sell it in pieces.
No, what you do is everyone who submits a cake gets to like be part of the cakewalk, and then I don't know if you put like $20 in or something, but then eventually you all just start walking in circles, and which like there's like little like placements like where everyone is walking, you're just walking, and then like whoever's like circle that you land on, that's the cake that you get or something.
Oh, like sort of a weird like free for all as far as like a grab bag present kind of thing. Okay, everybody makes a cake and then you somehow switch cakes.
Yeah, and walking is involved.
Very, very different than a regular bake sale where everyone would make a cake and then you could go buy 3 pieces of cake, different kinds of cake.
Yeah, that sounds much better, because like with the cakewalk, like if you get like a shit cake, you're just like,
this was pointless. And then you throw it out and then that seems insulting. But maybe it's somehow better because then the people whose cake don't get sold don't have to witness their cakes not being enjoyed.
Yeah, totally. Because the ones that me and my friends made for our cakewalk was definitely just like a Duncan Hines, really shitty. But
so. Do you have a favorite cake now?
Right now, I don't really have a favorite cake, but you know those like McCain deep and delicious cakes that are like in the freezer, like those chocolate cakes? Those are really good. They're just like in like the ice cream section of like a grocery store.
They're frozen cakes?
Yeah, but you can eat them straight out of the freezer. Those are probably really, really terrible for you, but I'm very passionate about them. Those are so good. Yeah, those are so good. They're like
they're deep and delicious.
They're deep and delicious. It's exactly that. And then,
are they ice cream cakes?
No, they're like
they're regular cakes that you could thaw, and then you would have a regular cake, or you could eat it frozen, and then you've eaten frozen cake.
Yeah, you don't even really need a thaw. It kind of comes out like perfect. Yeah, I'm like, it's so good. I don't know. There's like a
Are
lot of
there different?
science probably involved to make it so
Oh,
that you can eat it straight out of the freezer.
right. This feels like a food science like moment for sure,
Yeah,
because it doesn't seem like it's necessarily, I don't think Amy's Organic is making deep and delicious frozen cake.
yeah,
Uh, ooh, there's a marble.
yeah. They're all good.
They're all good. Okay. They have a cream cake. They have a chocolate. They have a marble. They do birthday cake. They do a vanilla cake.
Yeah,
What's a
but
Fortino's?
oh, that sounds really fancy and Italian.
It does. It sounds more than necessary. What's happened? Anyway, so that's your current favorite cake is to go to the frozen
Well,
food.
yeah, maybe. I'm a bit of a snob, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with a deep and delicious cake.
That's the thing about snobbery is that if you could also admit that there's another part of you that's full of just likes trash, like it's another
Yeah,
part of you that's a raccoon, and you would like to also have,
absolutely.
yeah. What and have you baked regular like real-time pastries and cakes?
Yeah, uh, because of COVID, I couldn't like
Oh, right.
perform anymore. Just because like yeah, there was like no performing happening, and I do like music and comedy, and then I felt like I needed to channel this kind of artistic energy or whatever into something. So I ended up going to
We all
pastry
did things during
school.
lockdown. You went to
Yeah,
pastry
yeah.
school during lockdown?
Not during lockdown, but like coming out of lockdown, and then
Okay.
like there was still not like live events happening and stuff, and like life was still really like slow and boring, and there wasn't that much going on. So yeah, I went into pastry school like 2020 of like September, I think.
Okay, so the end of 2020 you decided to there was
Yeah,
wow.
that was when
What
like
did
schools were starting to reopen, and
Was it remote? Like did you have to Zoom school?
no, but I heard that like in March 2020 they did do it remote, and then it just wasn't working out. So then um yeah, once I started, it was like their first time like having in person like sessions again.
It was just lightly attend like they had everybody spread out kind of.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah,
like
okay.
normally it was 30 people in a class, but then they had 15, and yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what did you learn? Like
I
what
learned
like what would the first day of class at a pastry school be?
the first day of class in pastry school was piping techniques. So they whipped up, like the instructor whipped up a bunch of like egg whites and sugar into meringue and just like taught us different piping techniques and stuff. And then yeah, that was the first thing. It was really fun. The whole thing was really fun.
Okay. It's I like that they went kind of to decorating first because
Yeah,
they're trying to keep you interested. They're like, I don't need to tell you that the first thing you have to do is you have to make sure that you proof things for 3 hours.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So when did it were there times when it was that you were surprised to learn something in that in like
Everything
what did
was
you
really interesting.
yeah, everything. I mean, it all sounds relatively like I couldn't pipe. I can't even get the stuff into the bag. And then
Yeah,
you're supposed to switch tips so that sometimes it's a star and sometimes it's a
yeah.
zigzag or something.
Yeah, yeah, it's tricky. Even now, I'm like still not good at piping, really.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can you make a moist cake though? Can you make a croissant?
I can. Yeah, it's so much work and kind of not really worth the effort that I never really do it. Yeah,
Welcome to the dork forest where it's like it's a thing I thought I'd love, but and I
yeah,
still do love it in theory.
yeah, yeah, totally. I love in theory, but yeah, I'm definitely not necessarily practicing the love.
Right. What do you spend your time doing? I wonder. That
What
isn't
like
stand-up comedy.
um
Do you read? Do you write?
what do I
Do you
do?
play pickleball? What happens?
I do music.
Do
Well,
you?
I do pastries. I just don't do croissants at home. I do a lot of like sourdough.
Okay.
Yeah, every time I make sourdough, it's like it's like there's too much bread that I always give it away.
Right. Right. Because
Yeah.
you make so do you have a sourdough starter that you have to access and
Yeah,
add to the okay.
yeah, we made it in pastry school and it took like weeks to make. But
Oh, that's
I'm
kind
really
of
bad.
neat.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm really bad at like people say that you have to like feed it all the time and stuff, but I never do. I just like feed it whenever I make it.
When you use it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really
How did you
tired.
make, quick question. Here's a quick question. How do you make sourdough starter from scratch, which is what you did in pastry school? I have
Yeah.
sourdough starter, but
Oh,
I got it from my
nice.
mother,
Yeah,
my mother-in-law, who
that's the
has had
best
the
way.
same, yeah, she's had the same sourdough starter for 40 odd years. And
Well,
so to make it from scratch, you need to get dirty air into milk and flour. Is that right?
flour and water. You just mix flour and water, and then like I don't know, like for a couple of weeks every day, you kind of like switch out some, like you toss some out and then add more water and flour, and you
Okay.
just it's just yeah, it's grabbing yeast from the air and just pulling it in, and then and just like from your fingertips and probably stuff like that.
Yeah, it's dirt. It's some
Yeah,
sort of, it's like it's fighting some sort of bacterial thing and it creates bubbles and it becomes alive.
yeah,
And
it's there was like yeah, like 15 of us in the class, and uh all of us had pretty like regular looking starter, but like this one guy in the class who I would never eat any of his pastries because he was just like gross, like just the way he handled food was gross, and he had the most impressive starter and I was just like that is
it kind of,
gross.
it's gross, but it kind of makes sense because that
Yeah,
guy's not clean.
yeah, his
He's
starter was really active.
entirely active. And what about, so I am about to actually, I have sourdough starter right now. I'm about to make 2 loaves of bread for Thanksgiving tomorrow. It's US Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
And we're also going to make something called butter horns. Have you ever heard of a butter horn?
Oh, those are those things that you wrap around. Is
They
it?
might, I've never even heard of them, but they were in some cookbook of my mother-in-law's. My mother-in-law moved in with us about
Oh,
6
fun.
months ago.
Okay,
Yes.
fun.
And so I am learning how to bake because she is a baker.
Nice.
And so my idea of like to make, yeah, see, I usually would buy the you hit it on the side of the thing and it pops out and then you have butter horns.
Right, yeah.
But we're about to make butter horns. I don't know, butter horn dinner rolls.
Those sound really good.
Yeah, I don't know what is, I don't think they're sourdough. I think they're just going to be regular dough. Yeah, so yeast, water, butter, milk, sugar, flour, salt, an egg yolk, and a fourth of a cup of more butter. What's happening?
Yum. That sounds like a really
It,
fluffy, like enriched dough.
it's a half a cup of butter and also a quarter cup of butter, DJ.
Good. That's so
That feels like
good.
a lot of butter. And then
That'll feel good.
and then it'll come out of the oven, and the first thing you'll go is, well, I should butter this.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Weird. And then how do you did you learn technique of how to roll stuff out?
Yeah. It's I'm still
It's
learning.
fiddly, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of fiddly to make. Did you learn how to make phyllo dough?
We
That
learned how to make something that was kind of similar to phyllo dough. It's like an apple strudel, like one of those like kind of like I think German
flaky pastry kind of.
yeah, you have to like stretch it out really thin and like have layers and layers, and it's a lot of work.
What's
I would
that
never do
one?
it.
What's that one where you fold it with cold butter? What's that called?
Folding with cold butter. Oh, that's puff pastry.
That's puff pastry.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between puff pastry and, have you heard of this? Choux pastry?
Oh, choux pastry is they're very different. One choux paste is really like eggy. It's a lot of eggs and very little butter. with puff pastry, it's like you're like rolling out a dough with like layers of butter
Like sticks of butter.
yeah, totally. Like upwards of a whole pound, and it's always like, and it's the steam and the butter that's like creating layers. But with choux paste, it's kind of like hollow inside, and it's like the egg that is causing the steam to like and causing
To make it
the
big?
thing to puff. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
is choux pastry what an eclair is?
Yeah, it's just in a different shape.
Oh,
A cream puff and
okay.
an eclair is like, yeah.
That's all choux pastry, and then the folding is sort of a flaky pastry.
Yeah, it's like a puff pastry, or like it's essentially what croissant dough is as well, except croissant dough has yeast in it.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
wow. So if you don't have yeast in it, what do you end up making with the puff pastry? You can make any number of things, but what
You can
might
make
I know?
you can make like Napoleons.
Okay.
You can make like millefeuille. You can make danishes.
Okay. I know
Yeah,
exactly what a Danish is. It's one of those
yeah,
round things that has like a dollop of something in the middle.
yeah.
So, okay. I don't know a lot about pastry. Here's what I know. I like them.
Yeah, that's
Can
all you need to know, really.
you make donuts?
I do, but I also, oh my God, every question you ask me if I can make something, I'm like, yeah, I do, but I don't,
Don't.
because it's too much work.
Well, I think that pastry cooking is enormously fiddly, right? I mean, it's something that
Yeah.
you would have to be trapped on, I don't know, like a farm in the middle of the pioneer days going, I would like something sweet. And in case
Yeah.
I don't want to eat this bowl of sugar with a spoon, let's make a Danish, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, but
But
you live in a metropolitan area where you can go to a donut shop.
oh my God, yeah, Vancouver specifically, I think has like an illness where like everyone is kind of like obsessed with donuts here.
Oh, yeah, really? Are there
Um,
really good donuts? Like we have a Dunkin' Donuts that just opened by us. It's kind of exciting because I love coffee.
right. No, it's like we have all these like boutique donut shops here. It's a bit much, and I like just like a regular Krispy Kreme, just like
Okay.
the regular glazed donut, and we don't even have that here.
There's no people. So I like a glazed donut over a cake donut.
Yeah,
A cake, a cake donut. I'm like, well, I would like cake then.
totally.
And then I would also. Have you ever made a pie? Like the pie
Yeah,
crust?
yeah.
I'm about to learn how to make a pie crust, you guys.
Oh,
My mother-in-law is
nice.
going to teach me how to make a pie crust. She said, "Why don't you buy pie crusts?" And I said, "Well, because I've always wanted to learn how to make one." And she's like, "All right, I will teach you how to make a pie crust."
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. I don't know. Are there eggs in or yeast in a pie crust?
No, I love making pie crust because it's just flour and water and butter, sugar and
Oh,
salt.
okay. Oh, so
Yeah.
butter. It's sort of butter is the thing because they don't really puff up. They do get hard and they're
Yeah.
kind of buttery. So interesting. All right.
Yeah.
And then you roll it thin, you place it in a thing. Do you have to blind bake it? If I'm going to make a cherry pie.
Kind of depends. When people make cherry pies, they normally don't blind bake, but I feel like I would just because I love to make sure that I don't have a soggy bottom.
Oh, there you go. Right. To make sure that the pie crust is done right. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have, so the other people that you went to school with, do you ever see them now?
Yeah,
Did you
one
make
of
any
them,
friends or, yeah?
yeah, I made pretty good friends, and everyone's working now in like the food industry, and one of them, I work part-time in a pastry kitchen right now. And one of my coworkers is from pastry school.
Oh, cool. It's
Yeah.
so what are you just sort of a line cook in the pastry at the pastry place or are you just like I worked at a hot dog stand
Okay.
for 3 summers and
Okay,
the
cool.
first 2 summers I just made tartar sauce and rung people up.
Okay.
But the but I eventually got to work the line and work the fryolators and
Okay, cool.
and that's where you got to drink essentially.
Oh,
Is when you
nice.
went back and you got to make hamburgers and hot dogs
Yeah,
and oysters or whatever, clams.
right.
But so what do you do at the pastry? Do you get to actually make any kind of pastries, or do you just get to eat pastries?
Oh no, yeah, I have to like stop myself from eating pastries all the time. But yeah, I'm back there making, yeah, like croissants and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you're
cookies, pies.
so here's the only thing I've ever baked before my mom-in-law moved in was literally Toll House cookies.
Nice.
On the back of the thing, I could make them. I didn't buy. It wasn't such. I mean, I do like idiot proof. I'm not kidding, but
Right.
but I can make the back of the package cookies. Right.
Right.
You buy the chocolate chips. Though the first time I made them, I put the ingredients in the order that they were listed. Instead of, I didn't read the directions where you put all the dry stuff together and then you
Oh
put all the wet
no.
stuff together and then you put it together. They were not tasty. But I learned from that. Have you made any disasters?
Have I made any disasters? Actually, like recently, I it was shoe paste that I ruined twice.
Right. It's hard.
And yeah, it was really sad. It was Thanksgiving over here in October,
Right.
and I was having a get together. And I really wanted to do something like really elaborate. Like, do you know what a croquembouche is? I tried to make a
No.
croquembouche.
What is that?
It's like a tower of cream puffs.
Oh, wow. I've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But
then
that you'd have to make like 24 cream puffs though, right? Or 12.
75.
70. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and shoe pastry is the one that cream puffs are.
Yeah.
And so that's the one with egg, not butter, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mostly
And
eggs.
it's mostly eggs. And then how could you, is it in the kneading of it that it gets ruined, or is it in the proofing? Where does it fall apart? What's the fiddly part that can make it not work?
Maybe adding too much eggs or something. I'm
Just
still trying to figure it
proportions?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Fair enough.
it's really fiddly, and I haven't made it since pastry school. And even in pastry school, like I almost like had a meltdown and cried one day because of them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's weird. And what have you made that has worked out? Have you made anything that you're really kind of psyched that it looked kind of perfect?
Yeah, I make cakes a lot, and I'm always pretty happy with how they come out. And
Okay. Do you make
cookies.
layered cakes? Or
I
do you make
do.
sheet cake? Okay.
I mostly do layered just because I don't know. I just love. I really like to be maximalist with the cakes that I made. I want to have like as many components as possible,
Sure.
and like as many layers and stuff. Yeah.
Do you do now? What is a sponge? Is that a kind of cake?
Yeah, honestly, I forget
The different
the
kinds of
different
cake.
kinds. Yeah, there's so many. And I always just stick to like a regular like butter sponge.
It's a butter sponge. Now, what's in a butter sponge?
It's like the main component is butter.
Okay.
It's like your most like kind of basic cake where it's like you put butter and sugar and then cream it, and then you add eggs, and then you add like flour, and then that's like pretty much it. But like there's all these other kind of cakes. Like I don't like doing chiffon cakes because it's like you have to first whip like the egg whites separately, and then after you whip like egg yolks, and then you have to like fold them together, and it's like all this whole thing.
I've seen the folding. But so
Yeah.
now let's say you've made a basic, you blend all the thing, you add the flour, then you could flavor that regular cake sponge, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like you could put vanilla in it, right? Or
Yeah.
you could put rose flour in it. That's what they do,
Yeah.
and it's always too much.
Yeah.
And,
Don't do that with rose. Is really scary. It's tricky.
yeah, I don't know why you would bother, because I like vanilla, I like chocolate, I like strawberry. Have you ever made a strawberry cake? I once had an amazing strawberry cake.
Oh yeah, not too long ago, like in the summer, because it was berry season, I made like a cornmeal kind of like cake, like a
Oh,
corn cake, and put like
how did
layers of fresh strawberries in.
how did that work? Like corn and strawberries sound amazing, kind of.
Yeah, it was kind of like a strawberry shortcake, but
Okay.
like yeah,
Yeah.
with like cornmeal in it.
Yeah. This thing, the strawberry cake that I had taken, they had done a real skid move where he told me about it. I said, "So how did you make this strawberry cake?" And he goes, "Well, you'll be happy to know that there's a package of strawberry jello in the packet in it
Oh,
instead of sugar,
oh
instead of
my
just plain
gosh.
sugar." And I was like, "Well, it worked out
Oh,
because it tasted
interesting.
amazing."
Oh,
And then
interesting.
he had freeze-dried strawberries and fresh strawberries as design.
Oh, cool.
And now
Where'd you try this?
I tried it. I was at a wedding, and he
Oh,
had made
cool.
his own wedding cake.
Oh, oh my
And
gosh.
he was like, "It's my mom's recipe," and his mom had passed away, and he was like, "I wanted it at my wedding," and
Oh
so
my
I figured out
gosh.
how to make it.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, so it was kind of neat. And but what do you? How about frosting? Cream cheese, buttercream,
Oh,
whipped
yeah.
cream. What do you like?
Almost cream cheese all the way, all the time, every
My
day.
husband, huge fan of the cream cheese, doesn't want to see anything else, does not want to
Yeah.
talk to anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, you need that tartness. It's really yeah.
That's outstanding. So, by the way, I am talking to DJ, and his handle on all the things is DQOJR. And he has got a half-hour special for on Canadian television, but it's also going to be on Amazon Prime and Roku and Tubi, and something called AAM.TV. I don't know what that is. Good for you, everybody who could find that. But find DJ's half-hour special on. It's called Comedy Invasion, and it's a series of 30-minute sets by different Canadian comics. So we're talking about pastries. What else you got? You got any? So we got breads, we got donuts, we got cookies. You got a favorite cookie?
Do I have a favorite cookie? Um, just like a regular chocolate chip cookie is always good.
It's always good. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what people. You know what I like? You ever make those sugar cookies? I'm gonna wax elaborate about the
Okay.
baked goods that I enjoy, which is
Okay.
those sugar cookies that have the chocolate stripes on them, whatever those are called, fudge somethings, and they're delicious. I also
Yeah.
enjoy anything with mint, chocolate mint. I like a chocolate mint ice cream.
Mm.
Did you learn how to make ice cream or anything like a frozen cake at all?
We did learn how to make ice cream and like mousses and stuff. But yeah.
What's the difference between a mousse and a ganache?
Um,
All of a sudden, it's a quiz from pastry
yeah.
school.
A mousse is often egg whites whipped or whipped cream whipped, and it's been like set with gelatin.
Okay.
It's not always set with gelatin if you're using like cocoa chocolate or cocoa powder, just because the cocoa helps set the whipped cream and the egg whites. A ganache is mostly whipping cream or heavy cream with white chocolate or milk dark chocolate.
Okay. That
Yeah.
good to know. How about pudding? There's a comic named Greg Barrett who used to do the like instant pudding versus homemade, like normal make pudding from scratch.
Right.
And when I was a kid, this is a joke that he used to do because it's true. Pudding is for heroes because pudding is something you have to stand there and stir for like a half an hour.
Yeah.
Have you ever made pudding from scratch?
Oh yeah, I make it often just because it's one of my favorite things to make and to eat, and
It's
it's
delicious.
easy. Yeah.
It is, but it's not hard. It's just time consuming, right?
Yeah, and it's not too bad, but yeah, your arm does get tired when you're
Yeah.
whisking it for a long
Yes,
time.
maybe because I was a child. And
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what's your favorite? What do you do with pudding? Do you just make chocolate or vanilla or do you mix it up?
I like to put different flavors in, and then kind of depends on. I use it as a layer in cakes, so
Oh, do you put it on the in-between layers?
yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
like some people do jelly or they do.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's the like fancy French word that I use when I'm telling people that it's a layer in the cake is crème pâtissier, but it's essentially just pudding if you don't want to be fancy and just call it that.
You know what? I'm happy to know it because Paul Hollywood says crème pâtisserie, and or whatever, and then I don't know what the hell he's talking about. He's talking about pudding.
It's
It turns
pudding.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
What? Where are you, if I might ask?
Right now?
Yeah, because you look like you're in your corner office and you're a financial advisor. You look like you're in Toronto because
I'm in my home in downtown Vancouver.
it is downtown. Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's a very downtown landscape behind you.
Yeah, it's just buildings. Yeah.
It really is. And it's kind of, I mean, it feels like if this were a mystery, like a mystery TV show,
Yeah.
all of a sudden something would happen and you'd be like, well, get me that case. Yeah, the Richardson case,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm back. Anyway, so, and it's so funny because you're like, I don't know anything about Zoom, but this looks like it was created for Zoom. This setup.
Yeah, yeah. It is giving like downtown office. Yeah.
Vibes. Yeah, for sure. Now, well, this will go up in 2 weeks, which is, I think, the beginning of December. Is there anywhere that people can see you do stand-up comedy?
You can see me do stand-up online in a few weeks.
Doing a Zoom show, are you? Doing a
No,
Twitch show?
I just have I'm part of this other kind of like television series called Why We Are Funny. And right now it's not available on YouTube, but it will be available on YouTube soon in a few weeks.
Okay.
And then yeah,
so
and
everyone
then,
should keep an eye on the DQOJR, Instagram, Twitter, all the things. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like a little bit of stand-up, a little bit of like funny music things, and then I also just recently released like a Christmas song on Spotify. If you go on Spotify and
there's a cash cow. What is it called?
It's literally called Christmas Song. It's by me. If you look up Christmas Song by DJ On, it's on there.
Awesome.
And yeah, I post funny things on TikTok and Twitter sometimes and Instagram. So
nobody says he doesn't. You guys.
Yeah. So you can find me there, or yeah, live shows in Vancouver here and there. Sometimes, hopefully, around other cities soon.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let that happen. Have you? Here's my pastry talk. Welcome back. What is the best thing that you've seen someone make that you've got to consume?
What is the best thing I've seen someone make that I've got to consume?
Like one of your fellow students, or even just a restaurant. Like, do you have favorite pastry restaurants in Vancouver?
Oh my gosh, this is like such a difficult question.
Right. Because you make whatever you eat, and then you just go and get a frozen cake when you want.
Yeah.
Something
honestly,
random.
Go to Safeway. One of my favorite things in Vancouver to eat is going to Safeway and going to the frozen section and getting a McCain.
It's usually aisle
cake.
4, aisle 6. You guys
Yeah.
just look around. There'll be freezer cases, you guys.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh, it's so hard. But honestly, that might have to be my answer.
Right. Because it's like whenever you watch somebody make something, like it was like that strawberry cake. I was like, well, how did you do that? What happened?
Yeah.
And which is why I have a podcast called The Dork Forest, where I ask people questions about what they love.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes when you see someone make something, it kind of takes the mystique away from it. And yeah.
It becomes more attainable where you're like, well, if they could do that, I could probably do that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to do it. It looks super.
Yeah, totally.
Whenever I watch like the cooking shows that I watch on television are all from like public television.
Right.
I like America's Test Kitchen, Cook Country,
Yeah.
and something called Milk Street, which is the disgraced guy from Cook Country started his own one that I continue to watch anyway. Anyway, he was the guy from Cook's Country ended up being let go from Cook's Country because he was a bit of an elbow squeezer, I guess. There's a little bit of a corner a lady in a corner
Oh no.
kind of dude, and you're like, hey, we're all at work here, buddy.
Right.
Try not to do that at work.
Right.
But then they gave him his own show again.
Okay, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
no one gets
right.
canceled.
Right. There's right. There's no cancellations, and there are no consequences.
Yeah.
Especially if you were the straightest old white guy in a bow tie ever.
Love it. Love it.
So yeah. Just civilization moves at a pace of glaciers. So yeah. So okay. I'm gonna call it. It's only been I would say it's long enough. I think we've talked about some pastries. Anything you want to add? No, you're good. All right, well, TJ, this has been lovely. I just I like the idea of meeting you one day and getting to share a donut.
Yeah.
So I wish
Thanks
you
for having me.
Yeah, I wish you the best of luck and congratulations on that. And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat, my hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?